everyone. Good morning. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now. I'm Mubina Kapasi. The show is going to be flagging off all the big movers and shakers in trade over the next 30 minutes. You got to stay tuned for that. Markets, meantime, are higher and higher by a decent 0.5%. Yes, we've come off from the day's high, 11,750 now. The Sensex is gaining 233 points, in fact. So yes, as you can see, there's been a bit of a crack from the day's high. Broader markets, by the way. In fact, pull up the midcap index. It's now down 0.8%. A sharp decline witnessed especially in the last half an hour of the trading session, and the small cap index as well has declined 0.8%. So significant selling pressure seen in the small and the mid cap index at a higher rate compared to what we are witnessing in the benchmarks. But let's kickstart the show first up by introducing Gaurav Ratnaparki, technical analyst with Sharekhan, to join in on the technicals. We have Kunal Bothra and Soumya Sharma as well joining in on the show. So good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining in. And let's kickstart the show with the big loser in trade, and that is Wipro. After that outperformance that we have seen over the last couple of weeks, today Wipro is taking it a bit easy. I think the key culprit is the sell stance that Citi has maintained on the IT major stock. They've kept the target of 250 rupees. Remember, Wipro is at approximately 300 rupees at the current levels, as they believe that there is a negative catalyst watch on Wipro's stock price. And the outperformance that you have witnessed in the last couple of weeks is primarily on account of a buyback. So I think that's really the only positive trigger for Wipro. Wipro is down by 0.6%. It was earlier losing 1%, but it has managed to recuperate a tad bit. But Soumya, look at NMDC. What a rally scene over there. And I think it's got to do with the fact that iron ore prices continue to move higher.
Well, yes, and in fact, the company has reported very robust growth when it came out with its business update on iron ore sales, which stood at around 3.4 million tons and versus 2.3 million tons compared to the last year. Even on the output, we had it standing at close to about 3 million tons versus 2.12 million tons in the last year. As far as this is concerned, it was a robust 46% growth on a YOY basis, with an impressive performance in Chhattisgarh and Karnataka sectors. This impressive growth was despite production halt at the Donimalai plant, and in fact we are seeing a good move, good uptick coming in the stock, higher by over 2.7%.
And yes, Chinese iron ore prices as well continue to stay at a record. It's beyond $115 per ton now. So yes, it's a relentless uprise in Chinese iron ore prices, which is as well a key trigger for NMDC. Kunal, it's after very long that we are seeing a buy on an auto stock, Maruti Suzuki.
Like Mubina, that many of these stocks are forming short-term bottom. I think Maruti has credible support at that 6,500 mark. We've seen multiple attempts towards the stock taking support at those levels. I also mentioned yesterday in the smart stock edge segment that how Maruti has formed a range behavior in terms of prices, and there could be a high probability that the stock may once again take support at the 6,500 mark and bounce off from those levels. Hence a contra call, in terms of buy on Maruti, 7,600 as a target, which I mentioned even yesterday, on a positional basis, and stop loss at strictly to be followed at those 6,000 levels.
All right, yes, it's a buy and a target of 7,600 rupees for Maruti Suzuki. Gaurav, Praj Industries continues to go higher today as well. It's a neat uptick of more than 2% witnessed. Your view?
Yeah, that's right. Basically, Praj Industries has formed a multi-week running triangular pattern. The last leg of the pattern couldn't reach lower end of the pattern. It found support near 61.8% retracement of the previous rise, and from that golden ratio mark, that is from the level of around 130, the stock has started moving up. And on the higher side, the short-term target area is somewhere around 150 to 155. And once these levels get taken out, the pattern will be considered to have broken out on the upside, and it will lead to significantly higher levels for the counter.
Okay, that's a recommendation on Praj Industries. Bharat Forge, meantime, is seeing a bit of selling pressure this after CLSA has maintained a sell. They've also cut the target price to 390 rupees from 420 rupees, as there is a key risk of a simultaneous slowdown in all the three key segments. Remember, month after month, we have any which way has been seeing a very weak indication from the North American Class A trucks order. And yes, CLSA has flagged that off as well. The stock has, however, recuperated from the day's low, but still lower by 0.6%. Kunal, there's no stopping that move in REC PFC, but off late, of course, PFC has taken it a bit easy. Your view?
So yeah, it has taken it a bit easy. The stock is still in a consolidation mode, but look at the trends. on the longer term charts, and those kind of trends are generally an indication that the stock, even post consolidation, generally tends to move up higher. We've seen that happening for PFC in the last couple of days as well. The stock taking support at the 50 moving averages almost every now and then, after periods of consolidation. I think that's a very positive sign for the stock price overall, and I believe the next target now, even if you're a short-term trader, the next target for the stock should be its previous swing high, which is 136. So I think PFC could gain further bit more even from current levels.
Okay, moving on, Gaurav, IOC today once again in the red. I guess it's got to do with the massive volatility as well in crude prices. Your view on IOC?
In case of IOC, the rally in the month of May doesn't show an impulse on the upside, which means it's a part of a larger corrective structure. On the weekly chart, we can see that the stock is forming a flat correction, and currently wave C of the flat pattern is in formation, which means that the stock can come down to test its May low. Even the short-term momentum indicator is in line with the bearish structure. So on the downside, short-term target area will be 142 with intermediate support at 152.
Moving on, Soumya, there's a UBS upgrade on Titan.
Well, yes, even though they're maintaining a buy stance on Titan, they have raised the target price from 1,250 to 1,600 rupees per share. In fact, they say that the company has a long way and they expect market share gains to come in for Titan. And also the flawless execution by the company is keeping UBS bullish on Titan. We're seeing, although despite this raising of the target price, we're seeing slight marginal uptick in the stock coming by higher by over 0.4%.
All right, moving on then, and Kunal, ICICI Bank up move seen today as well in trade. Do you think this could continue?
Seems like Mubina, because the stock has been relatively stable last couple of days as well. We've seen the stock came back to touch its key support, which I think was around 410, 412 range, and bounced off from those levels yet again. So that leadership quality, the way the stock behaves in a market which is a bit volatile as well, in a market which is more trending, I think all of that indicates that ICICI Bank could continue to ride up higher provided this 410 support holds on. So I think traders could look at a buy. The next set of trigger in terms of a breakout is at 430. I believe if the stock breaks at 430 mark, momentum could accelerate for ICICI Bank.
Okay, that's ICICI Bank. By the way, that as well has dipped along with the rest of the markets. And Gaurang, another stock that continues to gain is Z Entertainment. It's interesting to see the sort of traction come by in the stock. Your view?
Z Entertainment basically is forming a base for itself. On the downside, 320, 325 is a strong support zone for the counter. And in terms of price pattern, it seems to be forming a basing triangle, and it is moving up from lower end of the pattern. Even the short-term momentum indicator is turning in favor of the bulls. So one can look for buying opportunity in this counter, and once the swing high of 354 gets taken out, one can initiate a fresh long position for target of 395, and in that case, the stop loss can be placed at 333.
Okay, pardon me, I mispronounced your name. Gaurav, of course, has given his view on Z. It's a buy above 354. Okay, here is some important news, and we have HCL Technologies that has been selected by Cricket Australia as a digital technology partner. It's a very interesting deal. It's a multi-year pact with Cricket Australia to deliver digital experiences to fans and players, coming in at a time, of course, when cricket fever has gripped everyone. So let's understand more about this deal. We have with us Arthur Phillip, Executive Vice President of Sales Transformation and Marketing from HCL Tech. Mr. Phillip, it's a pleasure having you with us on ET now. Let's start off by understanding a bit more about this digital deal for Cricket Australia that you've bagged. If you could explain to our viewers the size, the scope of the work, as well as the period of execution.
Great. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and hopefully I'm audible well. Thrilled to be on today. So we're here in Melbourne. And on the occasion of also celebrating our 20th year of having a very significant presence in Australia, we've announced a very major partnership today from a sports and technology perspective between Cricket Australia and HCL Technologies. We're very excited about this. We won't go into deal size, but this is a multi-year partnership that is going to really look at helping them take their entire experience and connection to their millions and millions of fans to a completely new level. They have a tremendous opportunity, great fans in the country. They have some very good digital properties today, but we're going to bring our scale digital methodology to the table. and the experience we have working with, certainly Manchester United and Volvo Ocean Race, where we've helped them elevate their experience. And we expect to attract many, many new people to the sport of cricket, not only in Australia, but there is a great global population that we're going to target with these applications and with this digital environment.
Okay. Arthur, since our channel is all about numbers, we are in fact 18 now. If you could tell us about the size. I know it's a multi-year deal that you have entered into with Cricket Australia. What exactly is the commercials involved, the financials involved essentially over the period that you have entered into this deal with?
Sure. Well, again, to keep confidentiality with our client, we can't go into the specific commercial terms in terms of dollar value, but the relationship will not disappoint. It's a very large-scale, multi-year arrangement, and we're going to help them completely transform all of their platforms that reach millions of customers, and again, bring more connectivity to the fan base.
Arthur, what makes this deal a distinct win for you? And like you mentioned, you've been in Australia for the last 20 odd years. So what sort of opportunities are you seeing from, the country?
Well, Australia is, just like many countries right now, overall a thriving country. What we do see is just about every industry, public and private, the continued need to digitalize and transform their business, to really take advantage not only of pure digital, both front-end and back-end capabilities, but to bring cloud into the mix and artificial intelligence and machine learning and IoT. And, of course, wrapping all of this together, you must always have great security in the form of cyber in terms of protecting your brand and reputation. And it's no different with Cricket Australia. They see an opportunity to really modernize and extend, the actual sport and the concept of being a healthy being, and extend it through technology, give people access to more data, give them a more immersive experience, help them, sport is always best in a community environment, and technology can be leveraged to create not only communities, but big ecosystems. And in this case, it's not just about the fans. It's about the suppliers, the partners, the many different sports associations, health bodies. The sporting association itself has many, many different tentacles into industry and society. And through the digitalization of their efforts, they're going to start to bring bigger communities together.
Okay. Arthur, I know you cannot share any numbers because of the confidentiality agreement that you may have entered into with Cricket Australia, but if you could just still, give us a sense of what sort of revenues we can expect, or at least give us a sense of if the margins that you will enjoy from this deal will be similar to the average margins that the company as a whole enjoys.
Well, I think we certainly have, during our earnings and quarterly reports, we've given the estimates that, we'll talk about, and I won't comment on them further in this arrangement. But what I will say is that, for us, it's all about relationship beyond the contract. We're off to a very good start with Cricket Australia. They have a massive fan base, and we're going to help them expand that and really bring the love and passion of the sport to the game. And I think, for us, what's exciting here is it's not just about business. This relationship is about connecting humans and creating a great, experience with the physical activity and, bringing the whole world together.
If you could just give us a sense of any other such chunky deals that you are expecting, any additions in the digital or the new technology portfolio?
Well, again, I think you can refer back to our quarterly guidance and our quarterly discussion around digital. But there's no doubt there's, the marketplace. This is where a lot of chief executives are thinking right now. How do I make myself the most competitive I can be? How do I connect my fans and my customers? better together, and technology is absolutely a critical driver in making that happen. And we feel we're very well positioned to work with companies to help them achieve that goal.
Arthur, on that note, thank you for joining in and giving us a sense of what exactly this deal with Digital Australia is about, and congratulations to the team on securing this deal. That's HCL Tech. It looks like a very interesting one, and of course it's going to be addressing the big fan following as well of the sport of Cricket Australia in the country, and all of this in the midst of the ICC Cricket World Cup. By the way, take a look at the India Bulls group of stocks. Just pull all of them up one by one, and there is a tumble that these stocks have taken. All three of them, in fact, within the group. India Bulls Housing down a whopping 15%. Ventures locked in lower circuit down 20%, and India Bulls Realty as well has taken a knock of approximately 15% odd. All of them, in fact 20%, this one too is locked in lower circuit. IBA Real Estate, all of them have actually seen a simultaneous slide in just the last half an hour. So a sharp crack witnessed in the entire India Bulls group as we speak. Well, we'll do one thing. We'll just take a very quick break right here on the show. Do come right back. We'll try and cover as many stocks as possible. Welcome back. You are watching Market Fatafat on ET now. Without any further ado, let's continue with the countdown. In HCL, along with the rest of the UMCs, is seeing a big dip in trade. I suppose this could be attributable to the massive rise witnessed in crude prices yet again overnight, rebounding to $62 per barrel. This in the midst of the entire tensions going on in the Middle East. The latest being that tanker has been bombed in Iraq, and this is something that is coming in after tankers have been attacked in the Middle Eastern seas in the last 1 month. Not the first incident, it's the third incident, so it certainly is something that is keeping oil watchers on the edge of their seats. HPCL OMCs are obviously going to be the victims on account of a higher crude price. Kunal, what is it that you're observing in Siemens?
So that's a couple of stocks which have formed a bullish flag pattern. I'm highlighting many of the names in the second half today. Siemens is one of them. It's forming a bullish flag pattern on the daily charts. There have been multiple supports the stock has taken in the last few days, and on all those attempts towards those support levels, the stock has bounced back quite sharply. I believe now the stock is on the verge of breaking out on the upside as well. So Siemens could be a good bet at current levels of 1270 odd. I believe for another 30 to 35 rupees upside. 1315 is where I would place the near-term targets for the stock price.
All right, that is Siemens for you, gaining 1%. Gaurav, it's interesting to know that Tata Motors today is seeing a bit of a bounce. Would you read much into it?
Tata Motors basically is forming lower top, lower bottom on the daily chart, which is a bearish sign as per the Dow theory. It is tumbling down along with the daily lower Bollinger Band. Even the momentum indicators on daily and weekly time frames are in bearish mode. So the stock is clearly in a downtrend, and on the downside, 152 is a decent support to watch out for. If bulls manage to hold on to the support, then the stock can attempt a minor degree bounce back. However, failure to hold on to the support would mean continuation of the fall towards 140.
That is Tata Motors for you. Soumya, look at the fall witnessed in Jain Irrigation. More than 20% of a dip. What is the trigger today?
Well, yes, this is a massive downfall coming in the stock. This is on after India Ratings has cut the long-term issuer rating to BBB with a rating watch negative outlook. In fact, this downgrade is on back of deteriorating liquidity levels as far as Jain Irrigation is concerned. This is the fourth consecutive day that the stock is falling, but in the last 2 days, the stock has fallen by more than 50%. And this is what's really concerning the streets. The stock's today down by over 24.3%.
Okay, so there you have it. That's the word on Jain Irrigation. 24% down. And remember, this is not a solitary move. We have been seeing the stock crumble under pressure for the last few days. DLF, meantime, and it is a big gainer today in trade. In fact, the second straight day of gain seen, and this one back at 178 rupees, making its way towards 180. However, again, just with the rest of the markets, this stock too has taken a tumble. In fact, it's at the day's low. So, well, it's once again losing in trade, while the realty sector, however, does continue to remain the top top sectoral gainer. Gaurav, one must also flag off Jindal Steel. The entire steel space is buzzing, save maybe one or two odd names. However, it's interesting to note that while JSPL did see a nice 5% uptick, it slowly declined in the last 1 hour to come near the day's low. What would you make of this move?
Yeah, that's right. Basically, Jindal Steel has been trading in the range-bound manner for the last few weeks, and currently it has now reached lower end of the range. 149, 150 is a strong support zone for the counter. So if these supports hold on closing basis, then the stock can attempt a short-term bounce back. However, at the same time, the upside looks limited for the counter. On the higher side, 170, 172 is a strong resistance zone. So any bounce is likely to fizzle out near 170, 172.
All right, that Jindal Steel at the day's low, 0.8% gone. Samya, what's the news on Canara Bank?
Well, the company has once again reinitiated the process of stake sale, partly or fully in Can Fin Homes. Canara Bank holds close to about 30% stake in Can Fin Homes, and right now we're seeing marginal downtick coming in the stock, lower by 0.6%. Apart from this, they also plan to raise close to about 12,000 crore during FY20. Well, even Can Fin Homes was gaining and buzzing today. Although it's off from the day's high, but still closing, gaining close to about 1.7 to 2% today in trade.
Okay, moving on, Kunal, what is it that's catching your eye in an ICICI Prudential?
So ICICI Pru is yet another insurance stocks which is showing good prospects on the longer term charts. I think just about 2 weeks back, the stock was going through a bit of a correction, but the correction halted at exactly its medium to moving averages, and in the last 2 days we've seen some decent bounce shaping up. Now the good part about this bounce is that the bounce is on slightly higher volumes as compared to the correction, especially the last leg of the correction as well. So that indicates that there's a new wave of buying which is probably happening to the stock, and the stock could now rally to almost 375, 380 levels, so becomes a good short-term buy from current levels.
Okay, well, 1.8% higher, resilient despite the fall in the markets. Gaurav, yesterday we saw LIC Housing Finance gain, and today there is some follow-up action seen. Although I would want to wait and watch if that too has succumbed under the market pressure, and yet, yes, it has. It's now again slid and it's down 0.4%. Anything that catches your eye?
LIC Housing Finance in the last session found support near the junction of 40 daily exponential moving average and Delhi lower Bollinger Band. The two in combination usually act as a strong support zone, and over there the stock formed an engulfing bull candle along with a bullish bell roll candle in the last session. So as a follow through, it moved up in the first half today. However, the intraday dip can be considered as a buying opportunity. The risk reward at this level is quite attractive to initiate a fresh long position. Stop loss can be placed at 525 and short term target on the upside will be 570.
So it's a buy on LIC Housing Finance. A lot of these stocks which were buzzing earlier have, I think, succumbed under market pressure and have in fact fallen. IRB Infra, big loser today in trade. This after ET has reported that the NHAI plans to seek a new investor for the Mumbai-Pune Expressway. They expect the new deal to value the expressway at 7,000 to 8,000 crore rupees. And take a look at the way the stock is falling. It's almost a 12% decline witnessed just in today's trading session. In fact, reports are also suggesting that there is going to be the deal which could conclude by approximately August, end of August. SBI Capital has been mandated to find a new buyer. Remember, the reason why this is going to be a bit negative for IRB Infra is because it's contributing the highest revenue. This particular project contributes the highest revenue of more than 900 crores. At least that's what it did in FY19. So it is not going to be great news. And Samya, of course, today the metal space is very resilient. Tata Steel, your view?
Well, yes, this is on back of Goldman note wherein they have they've come out with a note on the entire steel space, particularly on Tata Steel. They're maintaining a buy stance with a target price of 570 rupees per share. In fact, they've downgraded JSW Steel to neutral with a target price of 296 per share. But as far as Tata Steel is concerned, they believe that it's better placed due to its high level of iron ore integration which should provide lower volatility in earnings, and also the company's focus on deleveraging would help Tata Steel to reduce the amount of debt on their books, and they expect ongoing capacity addition to provide visibility around growth in the medium term, and hence they are maintaining a buy stance on Tata Steel with a target price of 570 per share. We are still seeing the stock gaining by over 3%.
All right, there you have it. Tata Steel still resilient, 3% higher. Kunal, what is it? CESC is something that has actually been on your radar for some time, and what is your recommendation here?
So again, the stock is in a consolidation mode. CESC, Siemens, all of them are forming a similar sort of chart pattern. CESC has given a breakout, or that breakout rather is due just about that 775 mark, and it's on the verge of breaking out of that consolidation mode. I think if that happens, market texture also stabilizes, and you see such kind of breakouts into stock patterns, then those are more credible breakouts. So CESC could be bought into above 775 for a target of 825 plus.
All right, that is CESC for you, but unfortunately we are out of time on this edition of Market Fatafat, so we will have to call it a day right here on 22 stocks. Thank you, Gaurav, for joining in and sharing your technical recommendations with our viewer, Kunal and Soumya. To you as well. We'll wrap it up. Coming up next is Markets at Noon.